This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, December 29th, 2008, and this is episode 506 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hodge from StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Len, one of our listeners, Sue from New Orleans, brought me pecan pralines direct from New Orleans, and can I say that I love our listeners?
I love our listeners, too. They brought us tequila and custom-made T-shirts, little
hats from Peru.
Hats from Peru, small origami-like decorations, and a host of other interesting stuff. Oh, and somebody knit some I guess, what would they be, like towels for us? Small towels. Fabulous.
Yeah, but pralines from New Orleans are really good.
I love pralines. You said pralines?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce them in New Orleans, as I'm told.
New Orleans?
I thought it was
Orleans.
Yeah, I thought it was called New Orleans.
No, in the South, it's called pralines.
Right along.
And as you know, Len, I'm all about correct pronunciation.
You are a stickler for details, are you not?
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
When did you become an expert on the South?
I have always depended on the kindness of strangers.
Damn, Yankee.
And also joining us is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for alleyears.net. Welcome, Mike.
I really do love your beautiful planet Earth. It's big and round and blue and green, just like my mother-in-law.
Boom. Go ahead, Newell.
That would be Sunny Eclipse.
Right! Unbelievable. Mike Newell, you win a prize.
Very nice. And also joining us on today's show, wearing her Figment shirt, is one of our listeners, Jen German. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Salutations. Ooh, we haven't done Len yet, right?
No, we did me first.
Can I please do his introduction?
Sure, go for it again.
Awesome. Okay. Where's the mini skirt made of snakeskin? And who's the other guy that's singing and Van Halen? It's Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide.
Wow, very nice. That's good old. That was Yellow Card, 1985, right?
Got the song name right. It's actually Bowling for Soup.
Oh, Bowling for Soup. Wrong.
Bowling for Soup also does Almost. Have you guys heard that? On the not the Radio Disney version, but the uncut version.
No.
Hysterical. Download on your iPod.
Well, anyway, on today's show,
thank you, Jen. That was awesome, though.
I try.
On today's show, we're talking with Jen because Jen did some research. You might remember a few weeks back, Len had mentioned that anyone going to MouseFest, Len has a number of offsite hotels that he's offering up for anyone going to MouseFest, and Jen actually decided that was a good idea after all of our making fun of Len. I don't know why she didn't get the hint that it was a bad idea. But anyway,
I am a grad student. I have no money. I take what I can get, sir.
Fair enough. So Jen took Len up on the offer, and Len, take it away.
So first of all, about a month ago, I had booked 4 different offsite hotels for 4 different nights during MouseFest before my wife Dawn had decided to come along for MouseFest, and these were all places that were rated in the top 30 hotel deals for the Unofficial Guide. Ding! And so, because I figured, we have to go through the top 30 hotel deals and make sure that they're all, livable and stuff like that. But then when Dawn decided, and they were all less than $50 a night, by the way. So these were places like Econo Lodges and Motel 6s and the like, But when my wife Dawn decided that she was coming, obviously, we all know that Dawn doesn't stay in hotels that don't end in the word resort,
Spa.
end in the word spa. So that's not Dawn. So I had asked Jen then if she wanted to. So I actually asked our listeners. I said, first person to write in. Is someone shuffling cards in the background or eating potato chips?
I was going to say, it sounds like crackers.
Sorry, I got up my Disney binder.
Oh, it was you. That's fine. That's fine. Usually it's Scopa snoring, Jen. Don't worry about it. So I had said in a podcast about a month ago, first person to write in gets 3 hotel rooms if they're willing to check in and check out every single night. And literally within 8 minutes of the show posting, Jen had written in to get the hotel room. So we met Friday. So I checked in actually the first place, which was it the Travelodge?
The first one was the Super 8.
The first one was the Super 8 East. Right. So I get into Orlando Friday, and I go check Jenny's Super 8 East. And she wasn't with me, and I was actually going to hand her the hotel room keys at the studios. So it's on 192, by the way. So it's 192 East. You'll know it because it's right between a Harley Davidson shop and a Denny's. And on the other side of the Harley Davidson shop is, I believe, a Dunkin' Donuts, right? So
I seem to recall that, yes.
I pull in, and there's this broken down black Cadillac in the front. And I'm figuring, well, between the broken down black Cadillac, the Denny's, and the motorcycle, Jen's never going to listen to the show again.
That is ambiance, my friend.
So when you're in grad school, there's nothing like a story, right? So
Absolutely.
I walk in, and it's very clean on the inside. The lobby was almost immaculate, and the hotel staff didn't have any problems with checking me in, adding a strange young woman's name.
They probably asked if you wanted to buy the hour.
We'll get to that.
He was looking at me. He was looking at my wedding ring. Looking at me. Looking at the wedding ring. Looking at me. Looking at the wedding ring. Hey, look, she's just gonna be by later. She's gonna pick up. I'm not gonna be here. No. And then on the way out, I'm like, hey, can I get a cup of coffee? He's like, sure, whatever. So I walk out, and he actually wouldn't give me the room key because it was before 3:00. But I gave you the receipt, Jen, when we met at the studios.
Yes.
And so, what time did you actually get to the hotel?
I think it was something...
You're with your friend Rebecca, right?
Yes.
So we met on the corner of Hollywood and Sunset.
Yes.
I'll give you the receipt.
Correct.
What time did you get to the hotel?
I would say it was around 10-ish.
Finish.
And what
And?
was your initial reaction to the hotel room when you stepped in?
It's free.
Actually, this was... Besides that was very exciting. I was pleased. But besides that, the motel was probably our favorite of the three.
Really, the Super 8 was.
Yes, it was.
It's funny, 'cause it's actually the highest rated in the unofficial guide too.
See, I'm right with it. So they had a lot of wireless networks, actually. There were at least 3 of them. It was very exciting. And,
And the people running meth labs in the corner.
well, you know.
How was the room? Was it clean? Did the sheets look new? Did the furniture look new? Tell us a little bit about that.
I'd say it was about...
Thread count.
Sorry. I'd say it was about your average hotel room, just 2 beds. The place was fairly clean, no problems. It wasn't any type of extreme. I'm afraid I'm telling this story very badly.
No, that's... Hey,
I feel like I'm reading the unofficial guide.
Did it have a TV?
It did have a TV. They all had TVs.
Did it have a coffee maker?
They all had coffee makers. They all had refrigerators, microwaves, oddly enough.
So that's amazing because all these things were $50 a night or less. So to get a fridge, a microwave, and a coffee maker for less than $50, that's not bad at all. How was the dressing area, the sink, and the bathroom?
Now for this one, the sink and the bathroom were separate, which was nice.
Oh, nice. It's like a moderate.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's really good.
Was there a like a slot in the headboard where you could put a quarter in?
I forgot to check.
Okay.
Darn.
Because
I know.
Lynn has that.
I'm a failure.
So, Jen, you were generally happy with it. If you were on your own, you would not hesitate to stay here another night.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like $50 a night, $51.
It was also the closest of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but interestingly, all of them were within like a couple blocks of each other, right? And they were all on the same left side of the street if you're going east on
It was actually kind of funny because they got progressively a little bit farther on the same place.
Yeah, it's true. I noticed that too. It's totally a coincidence too.
So let's move on.
Although,
to...
important note,
yes.
the Garmin, if you have a TomTom or a Garmin or some sort of GPS system, at least my Garmin believes in the existence of the Super 8, but it does not believe in the existence of the Travelodge or the Legacy Grand. So, if you're relying upon that, you may have a slight problem.
Let's move on to your second hotel. Which was that? The Travelodge?
That was the Travelodge.
The Travelodge was the second one. This is the Travelodge Suites Eastgate. It's a 3-star resort rated 67 by the unofficial guide. It's same ballpark as the Super 8. Now the Travelodge is easy to note because it's right next to the Giant Orange, right?
Oh, I've always wanted to stay at this one.
I've been there.
You know, and it's funny because the first time I pulled in there, Jen, I didn't tell you this at the time. The first time I actually pulled in there, I was I was at the wrong Travelodge, actually. I was booked at one way farther down on 192. But this is the Travelodge where I actually saw a man getting out of the dumpster climbing out of the dumpster one night. And then I thought, as I was leaving, thank God I wasn't staying here. And I neglected to tell you that, actually. But this is one where I actually brought Dawn with me to check you in. So it was me, my wife, and I was trying to check in some girl that I didn't have with me at the time. So again, the guy was like, yeah, sure, I can help you out with whatever you want. Did you try the continental breakfast here?
The only one we attempted the continental breakfast for was the Super 8, but their concept of continental breakfast is essentially continental coffee
Continental
and
coffee.
a loaf of bread, which may or may not be done by the time you get there. Just a minor note.
That's hysterical.
We weren't concerned at all. We had our own food, but if you are in the market for an expansive breakfast, you may want to go elsewhere.
Apparently, when they mean continental, they mean like the East Berlin side of the continent.
It's like something like Newell would ask his wife for a continental breakfast in bed, and that's what she would make him. Coffee and a piece of toast. There you go, Mike.
Time for the
Only with
airlift.
the edible.
So you get to the Travelodge, and I believe you had a second floor suite at the Travelodge, right? 211.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So how'd that work out for you?
This was our least favorite of the three, although it did have wireless as well, which I keep noting because the Legacy Grand didn't, and Rebecca had her computer, and she was lamenting this fact for many hours. So apparently it's an important point. But I think the Travelodge was the least... It wasn't unclean or unsafe, but, on a spectrum, it was the further down of the three.
Okay. So was it?
I keep making hand gestures, and it's...
Something?
Pardon?
Did you feel like it was old? Like, how could you best describe it? Was that its issue more so than being, dirty or not clean?
I suppose so. You could say it was older, slightly...
Dingier?
Almost, that's precisely the word I was about to use, but I wasn't quite sure if that was the one I wanted. But let's go with that.
Okay.
Dingier. That's fine.
It was a little darker, perhaps, and it did have a fold-out sofa.
Yeah, no, wait. It's a suite. So explain to our listeners exactly what a suite consists of in the eyes of Travelodge.
Nice. Go ahead.
Time for the caveats. Okay. It was essentially not very different from a lot of basic hotel rooms that I've stayed in that it was just one room. There was no connection, no doorway of any sort. The bed and the TV were more or less where you would find them in any standard hotel room. The only real difference was there was the fold-out couch and a coffee table, and I believe there was a desk.
So it's called a suite, but there was just one basic room.
I wouldn't personally define it as a suite, but I'm not an interior decorator, so I
Did they give
I
you
could be wrong in these things.
Did they give you like a roll of masking tape to divide the room in half, like your imaginary line of?
That would have been a nice touch, but no.
So sad.
I know my life is rife with tragedy.
What color was the room?
Oh no,
Beige.
probably white or beige, something along those lines. Eggshell or whatever they generally call.
White at one time. That's
Yes.
It's a color that Home Depot doesn't have. At one time, this was white.
Formerly white.
Formerly white.
All right. So if you could assign it a grade letter, like A through F, what would you give it? The Travelodge.
Probably B-. I mean, it's, as I said, it wasn't unsafe or anything, and it wasn't like it was bug-free.
That's good.
Which is good. It was bug-free. It was strange hairs-free. So
Better.
Even better.
indeed.
And you felt safe?
Yeah.
Okay, this one was $31 a night.
Wow.
There you go.
So for 30.
And the next hotel was actually $31 a night too. This one was the farthest away from
Yes.
Walt Disney World property, but still it was within 15 minutes of the Animal Kingdom.
And which hotel was this?
This is the Legacy Grand Hotel and Suites, and we knew something was up with the Legacy Grand Hotel and Suites when two things happened. Number one, the Advantage car rental place was apparently closed when we got there, and number two, there was some sort of odd religious service going on in the lobby in the middle of the day on, well, I guess it was Sunday, so I guess that was probably not odd, but there were far more
And Festivus,
Festivus. there were far more celebrants than there were actual resort guests. Now, Bob and I actually went into this hotel room, Jen. This is at the Legacy Grand Hotel. It had an armoire. It had a TV. We thought that it was clean. It had a coffee maker, a fridge, a small sink area, a microwave, a separate sink and dressing area, separate from the bath. The only thing that we thought was bad about this room, which we thought was a great value for $31 a night, was the bedspreads were straight out of hell. I mean, the bedspreads were just garish.
So they were
Yes.
we pulled back the bedspreads. The sheets looked clean. The pillows looked comfortable. What did you think of it?
I think that in terms of just the room itself, it was the nicest. This one was the only one that charges a resort fee. I think it was.
How much was
It was something like $238 or $287, something under $3. But it was, I suppose, if you're staying there for an extended period of time, it would begin to add up.
Yeah, maybe so.
And
I'm sorry, a resort fee is the biggest bunch of garbage I've ever heard. You know what the resort fee is called? It's called the price you pay to stay there for the night. That's the resort fee.
Oh, you know what drives me crazy? The Buena Vista Palace just raised their resort fee to $17 a day. Hello? Put that in the rate. If you know it's $17, put it in the rate.
Exactly. No, I hate that. It drives me up a wall to see that.
$2. I mean, well, okay, $238 on a $31 fee is 8%, something like that. Not inconsiderable, but
Yeah.
I thought the room was fine. I didn't think the neighborhood was great.
well, it was hard to tell because Rebecca and I would generally get in around 10 o'clock and get up or out by 9, so we didn't really have time to take stock of the surroundings. I think that's the important thing to remember, is that if you were to stay at one of these places, it would not be a place that you would be, if you're the sort of person who wants to hang around in the hotel.
Yeah.
Now,
But if you just need somewhere to crash, then it's perfectly acceptable in all
And
ways.
that's what I think all of these places were. They were really just a place to put your head for the night. You know what was interesting? The Legacy Grand is near Polynesian Isle Boulevard, which is the former home of one of my favorite offsite hotels in Walt Disney World, which was the Polynesian Econo Lodge. Sadly, I went down there and it closed. It's closed, so it's no longer available.
Oh.
It was a shame because I stayed there like 4 years ago when it just opened, and I thought it was fabulous. Young kids, they were go-getters. It was a great hotel. It was right next door to a crack den, which I thought was an unfortunate coincidence. Apparently, the crack den won out because now the Econo Lodge is closed. But it was I lament that. Anyway.
So Jen, what letter grade would you give the Legacy Grand?
I would give that one a B+, I'd say. Maybe
And-
an A-.
Okay, and I'm
It
sorry.
did not, however, have wireless.
Oh.
No wireless. Yeah, but for $31 a night.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And what letter grade would you have given the Super 8? Because we don't think we got that one.
Probably the A-.
Oh, so that
Under the
was-
principle still that you're not spending a great deal of time there.
Absolutely. Okay, so
The Super 8 was number 1, the Legacy Grand Hotel was number 2, and the Travelodge Suites Eastgate was number 3.
Correct.
Fabulous. Oh, and where do you live? Did you commute from somewhere?
We flew in from BWI.
oh my God,
Oh,
you
great.
flew to stay in these hotels?
But the best.
We don't live in Baltimore.
Did you give your parents or did you give the police before you checked in your next of kin's contact information?
Did you have a
So-
tetanus shot? Did you have to explain this to your parents, where you were staying and stuff? There's this guy that I know over the internet. He got me a hotel room.
I actually didn't. I told my mom, but I just neglected to inform my dad because he's convinced that no matter what I do, I'm bound to die.
Well, in a way, he's technically correct, but I don't think
In the long run, he's
in the long run, he's correct.
I suppose that is correct, but
Well,
you
yes.
know.
So if you would either of these hotels, is there any hotel here you would not stay at again if Len was not paying for it?
Would not in that even if it was the only place available, I wouldn't, or would not in the sense that I'd rather not if I could go elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're planning a trip. Let's say you're going to Disney World next week. You got to pick a place to stay. You could choose from these 3 hotels, as you obviously know that they're cheap. Or would you rather pay more and stay somewhere else?
Well, here, let's put it in the context. You have to stay. Put it this way: you're offsite and you have to stay on a
Off-site.
budget.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Offsite, you have to stay at a budget.
I would go with the Super 8.
Super 8.
Super 8.
Yes.
Excellent. It's actually the highest rated of the ones that you stayed at. Although all of them are in the top 20. So
Nice.
and we've actually, I think of the top 30 hotels, we've stayed at like 25.
I'm just sad the Magic Castle wasn't involved.
Oh, the Magic Castles. Actually, the Magic Castle was a lot like the Legacy Grand. But I don't know if it had wireless. I'd have to go.
Only purpler.
Purpler.
Purpler, exactly.
Nice.
Only more purple.
Well, Jen, thank you for putting your life on the line and helping us out. We really appreciate it.
It was an honor and a privilege.
Great.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Jen German, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.